Black screen, Sharon. Black screen again. Hey all. Hope you're well. I'm Adam Chelton, the mental health warrior, and today I'm actually being interviewed by the Aussie lass known as Auntie Shazza, Sharron Chemello. And obviously we're having a bit of technical issues in actually coming together on the broadcast due to Facebook. So obviously please share this. We will actually do this, and let's just see. Okay, hang on a minute. Right, okay, there is going to be another broadcast. We're going to try attempt and see where we go from there. So on that note, I will end this platform, end this broadcast. Hang on a minute. Just see if this works. You're connected, but I can't see you or hear you. So what we'll do is we're going to end this, and there is actually a group on Facebook called the Teen Whisperer. I urge you to all join that, because that's where this platform is going to be. Oh, here we go. Here we are.
Oh. No. Where?
You're here.
Am I?
You're here.
Oh my God, it's worked.
You're sideways though.
Oh, so I need to go back that way. Yep.
There we go.
Is that right?
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm too close. Oh, I'm sideways again.
Not to me, you're not.
Which way have you got your phone?
I've got it portrait.
Oh, portrait. Okay. It's crazy. But this won't go live into that group, will it?
If you share this into the group, then yes, it will.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Share into. All right. Yep. All right.
Yeah, and then obviously you look for the group.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've got that. I've shared it, and it should come up, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm just going to have to learn to do the Zoom. The Facebook does my head in, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's not coming up in the group.
Okay.
Yet. I did share it to the group.
Right.
Let's see. I'll just refresh. Sorry, anyone who's listening. You've got a few people on your end listening.
I know.
I know, that's wonderful. And oh, here we go. I think we're right in both groups. Fantastic. You're a technological genius, I tell you. Right. Except now I can't quite hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I just weren't talking because somebody's added me as a friend who's a mutual friend with you.
Oh, good. All right, so we're good. Oh, Adam, you solved it. Look at that. You're truly a genius.
Thank you.
Oh dear, I am still learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
So my apologies, anyone who's watching. I was about to let you lead the way, and then I remembered it's supposed to be my interview of you.
Yeah, so, no, this is your platform. This is your platform. I'll zip it. I'll zip it.
No, not at all. So, hi, everyone. This is Auntie Shazza, the Teen Whisperer, the Family's Whisperer. And we are now live in the group called the Kids, Teen and Families Whisperers, Support During Challenging Times. And we're also live on Adam Chelton's personal page, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, good. So I wanted to interview Adam tonight because I'm running a program for teens and their families, and it is about mental health. A lot of it is about mental health. And Adam is the mental health warrior. Yeah. So, Adam, you've been studying mental health, and you've got 3 kids.
Yep.
And I'll let you tell your story, but I'll just introduce you and then let you continue. One of your kids you've been alienated from by the system, so that part of your mental health journey.
Yeah.
Another of your kids has ADHD, which brings its own challenges, obviously. And you've also got lots and lots of tips and strategies for people about all sorts of aspects of mental health, yeah?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah. So the topics I had for tonight are anxiety, depression, parental alienation, even maybe self-harm, ADHD kids, suicide. Obviously, we don't shy away from the tough stuff, and tips, advice, and strategies. But I thought if we just start with your story, Adam, and how you ended up in this place, because it's an amazing story.
Where do I start?
Yeah, at the beginning, mate.
It all started when I was just 3 years old. I was diagnosed with a disability called dyspraxia. And for people that actually do not know what dyspraxia is, it's basically a mental and a physical disability that affects your coordination, from your walking to your talking. It has an impact on your brain. And because I was unable to ride a bike at 3 years old, the abuse started on myself, where I was punched in the face because I was unable to ride a bike. It took till I was 9 years old to actually learn to ride a bike.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to actually confess that. So, and then from that, I was abused every single day for a good 16 years of my life, to the point I was bullied non-stop. My daily routine was being beaten at home by my siblings to being beaten at school and nursery, and I kept that hidden away from the world.
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? It's a very difficult road, the abuse road, isn't it? And then, as you say, you kept it hidden. And a lot of people do, you know, they feel that no one will understand, or they feel ashamed, or, What do you think was your reasoning behind not telling people?
Obviously, before I answer that, the noise in the background, that's my cat playing football, by the way.
Good.
So, yes. Okay. So a bit of activity tonight. But anyway, the reason behind all that, I believe it's lack of understanding. Because there is a lot of stigma going around with not just mental health, but with multiple disabilities as well, such as autism, ADHD, and I'm in a few dyspraxia groups, and I mentioned about wristbands, like just to wear them in awareness, and nobody's got one. They cannot find one anywhere.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah, I bet. So there are wristbands available?
Not for dyspraxia, there's not.
Oh, okay. Oh, not maybe you better set that up, mate. There's a job for you. You know,
if I knew how to make them, I would.
Yeah. Well, there would be companies who make them, and you just have to, I guess, order them and then distribute them somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah. Worth asking around.
Yeah.
Just explain to the viewers what dyspraxia is.
Dyspraxia is a coordinational disability that can affect both your speech and your walking. It affects you. And I know I'm going to die with dyspraxia. There is no cure for dyspraxia. There's no cure. And it's how life is. I needed support growing up. I received very little of it. And I was just constantly bullied because of it.
Yeah. That's a hard road, isn't it?
It is.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And then years later,
because of all the rocky roller coaster, that's how I'm going to describe it. Roller coaster I actually endured. I self-harmed. I attempted suicide, and the list just goes on. I was actually just 3 years ago. I was actually arrested under the Mental Health Act because of the trauma I experienced growing up.
Yeah. And when you were suicidal, that was about 18 months ago, wasn't it?
That was the last time I actually attempted suicide, yes.
Yeah. Well, I, for one, am, it's not the right word, but I'm grateful, I guess. I was going to say I'm glad you were not successful in that attempt. I'm grateful because I've watched your progress over the last couple of years, and I've seen someone who's now confident and helping others in this same area. And you understand things like suicide and self-harm, parental alienation. Just tell us briefly about the parental alienation, what's been happening there with your daughter.
Well, obviously, without going too much into detail, because I know it's an ongoing case, but I actually have a daughter elsewhere that's being abused where she is at the minute. I have been at this fight for a good 5 years. And I have just been alienated in the space of 3 months. I have only held my daughter 6 times. 5 of them was only for an hour. And I was just not allowed to be a father whatsoever. And now, obviously, I've taken the local authority to court, the High Court. I've just recently won a hearing, but I know there's going to be another hearing in due course, possibly going to be early next year.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing battle for you, hasn't it?
It has. And is it exhausting? Yeah, it is exhausting.
Yeah. And one of the reasons for her being taken was the relationship in the house, wasn't it, with your son with ADHD? Was that?
My daughter has never lived with me at all. And no, and when I came forward as a biological and announced as the biological parent, my daughter was already in the care system. And obviously taken off the mother due to negligence and of child abuse. And obviously from there it was just an uphill battle.
But I do remember you mentioning that the people in the system that were taking your daughter were concerned for her welfare, to be living with someone with ADHD who might be a bit aggressive or
the judge that actually granted the adoption order, they actually used the fact that my son does have autism and ADHD and a speech disorder, and they believed he was a high risk around her, but never took into consideration there are a lot of positives regarding this, and they never took into consideration that he's also got another little sister living with him, and if he was that much of a risk, why didn't they remove her as well?
That's right.
Exactly.
And also without having the two of them together in the house, you know, how would they know?
Exactly.
Or you know, or without having a history of evidence of violence, you know,
Yeah.
they've just made an assumption about kids on the spectrum, which, you know, depends on the individual child. You know, some people on the spectrum are very, very passive people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, after doing a lot of research over the last 2 years, I have come to terms that social are abusing my daughter. Well, not just my daughter, but abusing all of my children put together, because they're now putting all three kids at future risk of sibling rivalry, which I actually did mention that into the High Court, and that's one of the reasons why I won.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be addressed at next hearing.
Yeah. So, Adam, you've had, you know, an incredible story of adversity, and yet here you are setting up a group, Warriors of Mental Health, setting up a page, The Mental Health Warrior, studying mental health. You know, some people face this kind of adversity and sit and watch Netflix and you know, and moan and groan about their lot in life, but you have risen to the occasion and you are now a leader among mental health circles in the UK, and with all of us following you in Australia. So what do you think was that made the difference, that made you sit up and think, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. I'm not going to lie down and take this. I'm going to face this, and in fact, I'm going to help others through this. What was it?
Without using my kids as weapon, I definitely believe it was my kids, because actually it was tough, where I was petrified of even just going downstairs in my house. I was trapped in my own bedroom for a good 8 days, where I neglected myself. I didn't eat proper. I didn't even have a wash proper. I properly neglected and abused myself.
Yeah.
To the point I thought, you know what? I managed to get downstairs, and while I was just sat there tapping away on my phone, playing games, whatever it was, I looked up, glanced at my eye, and I saw my kids just sitting there playing, and I thought, what am I doing? I need to get off my bloody ass and be a role model, because that's how they see me. So from then, I literally got up and I thought, you know what? Time to bloody well change my life.
Yeah. You gave yourself a kick up the bum, mate.
Oh, I absolutely did. I did.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just typing, send any questions, because there's about 5 people on. And
please share this, guys. Please share it in awareness.
Yeah, that's right. So I've just said, send your questions now. Oh, there's the English in me coming out. So when that was happening, when you were 8 days in your room, was that around that time your last suicide attempt? Was it around that same time?
Yes. Yeah. Literally after I attempted suicide, I literally just trapped myself in the bedroom. I trapped myself.
Yeah. And can I ask you what sort of self-harm, or are you comfortable talking about?
I have tried scratching myself with my own fingers. When I was actually locked up, I was actually on 24/7 suicide watch, and all I was doing was just scratching the hell out of my own arms, to the point it was red raw. And they did nothing about it. Nothing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. I was. I've done all sorts. Pulled hair, punched myself. I've done all sorts.
Yeah. And there's lots of different schools of thought, and actually I'm speaking about self-harm on Thursday night with another coach. Sometimes it's anxiety, depression, sometimes it's shame or guilt. You know, there's different reasons for it, isn't there? Even punishing yourself sometimes.
Yeah, because for years on end, me being abused, I actually believed it was my fault that I was being abused, to the point I thought, no, it's not. It never was my fault.
That's right.
And to those bullies and abusers, all I've got to say is thank you. I've not forgotten, and I've learned to forgive, because they've actually transformed my life to the point I actually want to be who I want to be. I found myself.
That's wonderful. Oh, well, and more than that, Adam, you're creating yourself, you know. I think finding yourself is one step, but I think then going on to create yourself, you know, once you know what you stand for and what your values are and all that sort of thing, then you create. And this is what you're doing. You know, this is what I'm seeing in you, is the setting up of the website and the YouTube channel, and getting the message out there to people, and being brave enough and vulnerable enough to talk about, you know, I knew you would agree to talk about which self-harm strategies isn't the right word. What you did to self-harm, because self-harm is such a huge thing now with young people, particularly. You know, over here it's about 1 in 6 girls. The stats for boys are less, but and luckily it generally only occurs for about up to 2 years, and generally in the teen years. But it is certainly something very concerning for parents, you know, that we need to deal with and we need to talk about. So I really thank you for trusting our group, which is predominantly parents and practitioners, to talk about self-harm. So
I actually thank you for actually giving me this opportunity, because I've learned every opportunity that comes around, you've got to jump at it and got to take that risk.
That's great. And that's a really nice segue, thank you, into resilience. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is a big part of resilience to me. Teaching kids resilience, you know, how do we do that? How do you teach your children resilience?
I just teach everything I know. I just forward all that onto my kids, and they take it how they want. Fair enough, they don't know a lot about mental health, but they do know full well that I did try to end my life last year. And that's how it is. You just got to go with the flow. Go at their level, make it age appropriate, because you can't go telling like an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old, your parents try cutting the skin with a knife. Because they'll be thinking, what trauma is that gonna give them? So this is what I think. But I do believe mental health should be spoken about enough more in schools.
Definitely agree with that, and especially this year with COVID.
Don't get me started on that.
That's right. But with, you know, I know, that you have different thoughts on COVID, but certainly, you know, the effects of even the discussion of COVID, whether COVID exists or doesn't exist or whatever, which I know is what you're getting at, but the whole discussion of COVID and the vaccine and the numbers, and you know, that fear that we have, that's created so many mental health issues in young people that we need to address.
Well, you've actually hit the nail on the head there, Shazza, with fear. Now, obviously, people need to tell themselves every word has a meaning to them. So, for example, fail. If people think they're failing, what does fail actually mean? First attempt in learning. So you're learning. No, if you get told no, for example, in family coach, you get told no, jump at the next opportunity.
Yeah.
Fear itself, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
No pain, no gain. And straight up, I actually learned from a video I had to watch. If people's got, I'm going to say it bluntly, if people got shit in their lives, good, you deserve it, because at the end of the day, you need shit in your life for you to actually grow. Just look at a plant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I saw a lovely interview with Matthew Hussey, the Englishman who talks about relationships, and there was a bloke in the audience, American, I think, who had just broken up with his girlfriend and wanted to talk about that, and then kind of broke down. And Matthew Hussey said to him, you know, this is happening to you for a reason, and there is someone else out there waiting for you. But the thing is, this is going to help you to grow. All this shit in your life now is going to help you to grow. And I can't remember his name, but say it was Pete. Matthew Hussey said, this is the Pete I want to know. I don't want to know the Pete who has had life pretty good. I want to know the Pete who's been through this stuff and come out the other side and can talk about it and share it with people and help others. That's the Pete, you know, that we want to know. So it was a great little interview. I thought that's so clever. Yeah. So let's get on to the good stuff. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to diminish what you've shared with us, because it's been wonderful. And I really, really thank you for that. But what I'm thinking is, let's give people some tips and tricks about, you know, raising their vibration, about creating themselves, about beating anxiety and depression, or facing anxiety and depression. Tips and advice and strategies. What would you say to people who've got, say, a teenager who's really struggling?
Don't bottle it up. Do not do what I've done, bottle it up. Don't, because that just adds to the pain. That just escalates the situation and the problem. Definitely talk. Definitely talk. And if you feel a professional is no good for you, okay, fine. But definitely, I would definitely advise, talk to somebody that's actually been in your shoes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's where a lot of coaches are helping. I mean, psychiatrists, you know, we absolutely need them. Some of us need medication. Psychologists can help people understand the brain and why things are happening the way they're happening, based on studies of psychology. But sometimes, you know, life coaches and people like ourselves can help to guide someone along the path with just a few tips and strategies, and we can help them find themselves and create themselves too. So certainly, not to bottle it up. That's a great start. What other sorts of suggestions would you have for someone who's struggling? What sort of things have you done that have got you out of your dark spaces?
Obviously. Hello to everyone that's popping up and commenting. I see your comments, Paul. I will address them at some point.
Oh,
Paul has been commented a lot about social services. So yes, a lot. Tips on getting out of the dark side. I would say there is always a hand waiting. And also, you may be experiencing a storm right now, that black cloud above you, but always remember and say to yourself, storms don't last forever. They're always there temporary.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned meditation too recently.
Yes.
That's been
I would definitely highly recommend meditation.
Yeah.
Definitely also, which I've only just recently started myself, meditating with crystals. Now I'm going to jump on
Okay.
that for a minute
Yeah,
because
sure.
I'd never believed in the spiritual crystals before, never. And when my partner actually did it for a birthday um,
Yeah.
in November, I thought, you know what, right, okay,
Yeah.
you've seen the difference in it, so let me have a go.
Yeah.
Just because you have to try something once or at least twice before you
Yeah.
can actually put your views across to it. So I thought, you know what, let me have a go.
Yeah.
So I just listened to this 20-minute video, and I thought, you know what, right, okay, let's just go with the flow, see what the crack is. And
Yeah.
I opened my eyes, and my views are different. I highly recommend them
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
definitely somebody came over from the other side to actually
Wow.
help me through this. Definitely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And years ago, I would have nodded and smiled and thought, but I definitely had an experience with my grandfather some years back. So
Yeah.
that's really changed my feelings about the afterlife and the other side. Yeah,
Oh, there definitely is an afterlife. There's
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously
There's something.
the video said, imagine you're in such a place
Yeah,
and basically um my the place I was in, I felt something underneath me, even though I was just laid on the floor. So the
yeah,
only thing below me was the floor. I felt like
yeah,
people was lifting me up, like what they do at gigs, concert gigs, where they
yeah,
do that stage dive and they're going across the crowd with
yeah,
hands up below them. That's how I felt. And
yeah.
when I opened my eyes, I felt like somebody was holding onto my left wrist, and then somebody was
Wow,
holding my right hand. So clearly,
amazing.
two people were there.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Experience. Yeah. Yeah, I've just found Paul's comments on your page. Um, so yeah, Paul's having problems too, with some children, being taken by the department. And
Hmm.
he talks about workplace bullying, school bullying. Yep, all part of the problem. Um, and he says when you meet someone with mental health, listen, don't talk. That's good. And he also says you can't worry when you're laughing. Don't be sad because it's over. Be happy because it happened. In other
Yeah.
words, what we were saying, learn and grow from experiences, even if they are adverse experiences. So yeah, and I know
Absolutely.
and I know this has been a very serious topic for us today, but normally you and I have a really good laugh when we get chatting, and that's so valuable, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. This is why
yeah.
you're developing a British accent. Because I
Oh,
think me
okay.
and you were talking too much. We're talking too much.
I know, I am. I'm starting to copy your accent. They say that it's a sign of intelligence when you copy people's accents, but my kids don't agree. They just say, "Mum, stop copying people's accents." So yeah, I tend to do it. I just pick up. It's quite funny, but I am English originally, so I was
I
a Joyce. I was a Joyce, so I would be. Oh, James Joyce is Irish, isn't he? The poet, I think. But anyway, I know some of our family are from Ireland and some are English. So yeah, several generations ago. So that's right. Now, so Paul's had some really great comments there. Thank you, Paul. Um, and I haven't seen any comments over on my page, so I'm not sure that they've been able to post any comments, but I'm sure we'll get some with the replay,
yeah.
when people watch it afterwards. And yeah, it's been a really valuable interview, just to interview someone who's been to rock bottom and come back from that, and now taking it further, taking it that
Yeah.
big step forward to help others who are who are struggling, that's, that just means the world to people to hear from someone who has walked the walk. It's easy for someone, like a psychologist or a coach to sit and tell you strategies for mental health, but to hear it from someone who's actually, I won't say beaten, but who's risen above.
I don't think you'll ever beat mental health.
No,
I don't.
no,
But
that's right.
if you say you're ahead of it,
Yeah,
then yes, because with the rock bottom, people that's actually, if they do not know what rock bottom is, or they've just witnessed it for the very first time, just remember, there's only one way up, and that's up.
Yeah, that's right. And just put one foot in front of the other. Apparently, Elizabeth Taylor said that years ago. Just get up, show up, put one foot in front of the other, and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. It's finding strategies to help your mental health. I find exercise very good, and I've been learning a lot about the diet lately and reducing sugar. Because that makes a big difference. So
I would recommend getting in touch with what's his name, Jeffrey Berger. He's on my friends list because he can tell you all about that.
Jeffrey, I've spoken with Jeffrey, I think, on Alive, and
on one of my podcasts.
And in Australia, we have someone called Matty Lansdowne, and Matty, is a dietitian coach who has certainly weaned me off sugar. So
I know you. I know you interviewed someone called Matty the other day, and I've actually scheduled him to come on one of my podcasts.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, he's great. He's a real champion, and he knows everything there is to know about the diet, about the gut health, and the link between the gut health and the brain.
Brilliant.
And 85% of our brain chemicals are made in our gut. And the day I heard that was a game changer for me. But then I had to learn more, so I went to Matty and did a course, and it's been great. So
fantastic.
And it certainly changes the mental health.
Correct.
So last words. We've got a teenager. He's 15. He's gaming. He's in his room all the time. He's not helping with chores around the house, and he's quite anxious and depressed. What would you tell him? What advice would you give him?
First of all, find another technique other than gaming. For example, meditate. Music. Listen to music. Because it seems, because I had a bit of a blip yesterday with my depression. So I just stuck YouTube on, stuck one of my favourite artists on, and then within 5-10 minutes, I was back to reality again. So definitely do that. Read a book, or get a piece of paper and write down all your issues, what's on your head, and you could either shred it, rip it up, or just burn it and just watch it turn to ash.
I like that. Not in your bedroom, boys.
Not in your bedroom. Not in your bedroom. Do it outside or something. Do it outside.
Near the dustbin.
Yes. Do it outside.
But great strategies. And
another one, just which I actually learned just a couple of weeks ago. If you for example, if you see a bully and you're being bullied to the max, all you have to do is get a piece of paper, write that bully's name on that piece of paper, obviously rip it up, scrunch it up into the ball and put it in some water. Put that piece of paper into water. Obviously, you write that name down in felt tip. It has to be felt tip. And then check on it after about 5 minutes, and you watch that name as vanished.
Vanished. I love it. That's great. I like that one. That's a great anti-bullying idea. That's awesome. And some great ideas there. Writing down your issues, I like that one. Yeah. And learning to meditate. Just find an app. And you know, some teenagers are going to hear this and think, yeah, meditate, yeah, right. Maybe that's what I need to do, set up meditation for teenagers and show them how powerful it is. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe what you could do is actually set up a meditation group where you provide different techniques and videos and strategies on how to actually meditate properly.
Yeah. Yep. And make it for beginners, but in my case, make it for teens and kids.
Exactly.
And make it cool. I might have to wear armor or something, you know.
Probably.
I might have to go to my son's pop culture store and get some Halo gear or something like that, you know, or some camo gear.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think we're on to something, Adam.
I think we are. Two brilliant minds are better than one.
That's it. And on that note, I will say thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's been absolutely invaluable, I think, for my group. And I'll be really encouraging people to watch this video and to see that someone, you know, an ordinary person who is extraordinary, but we're ordinary people, you know, but you've found the extraordinary inside of you and you've risen above, you know, you've risen out of the ashes like the phoenix, and you've found strategies and you've done the studies, and, you know, you've healed a big part of your life, you know, and it's never finished. It's a journey of healing, but, you know, I really admire how much you've done in, you can hear my voice quivering. You know, I really love what you've done. Yeah. And you know that I do love you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Adam Chelton, the mental health warrior. We shall meet again, and I'll try not to use my English accent next time. That chance.
No comments on that. But thank you.
Right,
I will listen now.